First came the leaked footage, then the lawsuit. Now, Rachel Zegler's entire career might be on the chopping block. She's being blamed for tanking a major Disney project, slammed for chaos behind the scenes of Evita, and the receipts? They're brutal. Missed rehearsals, backstage blowups, and now two sides preparing for all-out legal war.
But it's also really important to me that I share with you not only the really good, exciting moments, but also like the little blips where I just don't feel great. I think that's really important that you see me as a human being, because I think a lot of people don't. So I don't know. I want that disclaimer out.
The video was blurry. The angle was off. But it was enough. A mystery clip surfaced online, raw rehearsal footage from Evita. But it wasn't Rachel Zegler on stage, it was someone else, another actress. Same costume, same scene, same lines, just not Rachel. And the internet instantly lit up with one question. Had Rachel been replaced? At first, people thought it was a mistake. Maybe she missed a day. Maybe it was just a stand-in. But then came the second blow. Private director notes began leaking, allegedly from someone tied to the production. And what those notes said? They turned confusion into chaos. Rachel wasn't just missing. According to those notes, she was a problem, a big one. Words like combative, uncooperative, and toxic to morale were reportedly used. One entry even claimed she shouted at the director during a live run-through and had to be escorted out by security. That moment, if true, shattered whatever was left of her image as a rising star. People who had been defending her started to fall silent. Even her fans were divided. Some swore it was a setup, others said they'd seen the warning signs coming from the Snow White press tour. And that's when the whispers turned into headlines. Insiders claimed the rehearsal space had become unmanageable. She reportedly skipped rehearsals without notice, gave unsolicited notes to other actors, refused direction from creatives. And worst of all, she allegedly threw props backstage during one meltdown and walked out mid-scene. None of this was officially confirmed, but it didn't matter. The internet doesn't wait for confirmation. It takes receipts, screenshots, and rumors, and spins them into trending topics within minutes. Rachel's name was suddenly everywhere, not for her performance, not for her talent, but for allegedly being the reason a multi-million-pound West End revival was imploding before it even opened. And what made it worse? Silence. No denial, no statement, no clarification. Rachel didn't post. She didn't respond. She didn't even acknowledge the storm swirling around her. That silence, it only added fuel. Because now the question wasn't just, is she out? It became, what the hell happened behind those doors? One anonymous source close to the production told a UK tabloid, this wasn't just diva behavior, this was sabotage. At that point, the producers had a choice, clean it up quietly or go nuclear. They chose nuclear, because what came next was a lawsuit.
So I decided to walk to the studio because it's really pretty out. It's only like a 15-minute walk. I haven't been out to walk in a warm place in a really long time. So it kind of feels just like wrong, and I feel like I'm forgetting everything that I know.
And then, because, I mean, you seem to be dominating the world of musicals. You're doing Evita in London, right?
Big Andrew Lloyd Webber fan right over there.
Was that your dad whistling?
Yeah. You guys see Stanley Tucci back there?
That'll be fun, huh?
It's going to be the best time. It's my West End debut. I'm so excited.
You've done a lot of Broadway.
Yeah, well, yeah, I did Shakespeare for 20 weeks. I'm coming off of that right now.
20 weeks of Shakespeare.
It's a lot.
Do they say, like, the audiences in England are different than the American audience?
I've heard they're more reserved, and I certainly didn't have a very reserved experience on Broadway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were in an 800-seat theater in the round, so you really are this close to your audience at times, and I'm with the biggest heartthrob in the...
It wasn't just bad press anymore. It was legal. Word broke that the producers of Evita had filed a lawsuit against Rachel Zegler, and it hit like a bomb. This wasn't about creative differences. This was a breach of contract case, and according to insiders, the producers weren't just looking to remove her from the production, they were coming for money. A lot of it. Early reports claimed the producers were seeking damages upwards of £250,000 to £500,000, citing missed rehearsals, disruption to the production timeline, and what they called irreparable brand damage. That last part, that's where things got serious. Because in the entertainment industry, once your name becomes associated with instability, it follows you like a shadow. But the most damning detail wasn't the financial number. It was what the producers were allegedly using to build their case, the morals clause. In high-level entertainment contracts, especially on Broadway and the West End, there's often a hidden clause that rarely sees the light of day. It's called a morals clause, and it basically gives producers the right to fire or sue a performer if their offstage behavior damages the image or integrity of the production. In other words, if you go viral for all the wrong reasons, they can come for everything. And according to the leaked legal documents, that's exactly what the Evita producers are doing. Sources say the producers have compiled a full case file against Rachel, complete with rehearsal call sheets, internal complaints, timestamps of missed cues, and even emails showing warnings that allegedly went ignored. There are claims of verbal outbursts, ignored directives, show day no-shows, even backstage chaos that reportedly pushed other cast members to threaten to walk. One memo allegedly stated, despite repeated accommodations and direct communication with Ms. Zegler regarding expectations, her conduct has materially damaged the production's ability to move forward as scheduled. Translation? They're accusing her of being the reason the entire revival nearly collapsed. Even more shocking, producers claim Rachel was paid in advance for the role. That's right. She was allegedly given a sizable upfront fee to secure her participation in promotional tours, rehearsals, and previews. But now that the show is scrambling for a replacement and suffering from lost sponsors, they're demanding that money back, and then some. By the time this news hit mainstream outlets, the tone had shifted. This wasn't just drama. This was reputational war, the kind that studios and casting directors pay very close attention to. And as one Hollywood insider bluntly put it, you don't make waves this big and expect to keep your next role. But Rachel, she wasn't done yet, because behind the scenes, her team was preparing to strike back.
Do you have a terrible audition experience?
I do. I do have a terrible audition experience.
What is it?
I was actually, oddly enough, auditioning for a Broadway show of a very famous Broadway musical that was having a revival, and the producers and directors were ordering lunch while I was singing.
What?
It was so
Like,
horrible.
actually, while you were singing a song?
Yeah. I booked West Side Story a week later, though.
Yeah, well, we're busy, of course. Evita opens at the Palladium this summer, so we're collaborating with Jamie Lloyd again, following Sunset Boulevard. Well, Rachel was desperate to play Eva Perron. You know, it was her idea, and we saw an audition tape.
Just when it seemed like Rachel Zegler had been backed into a corner, she moved. For weeks, she stayed silent. No tweets, no interviews, no damage control. Fans were split. Some thought she was ignoring the backlash. Others assumed she was finished. But behind the scenes, Rachel wasn't laying low. She was lawyering up. Multiple insiders close to her management team began leaking whispers of a counter lawsuit. That's right, Rachel Zegler, the actress now at the center of one of the biggest PR disasters in modern theater, was allegedly preparing to fire back, and she wasn't holding back punches either. According to sources, Rachel's legal team is planning to accuse the producers of emotional mistreatment, intentional isolation, and constructive dismissal. In simpler terms, she's claiming they pushed her out on purpose. One leak described the Evita rehearsal environment as cold, hostile, and designed to make her fail. Rachel reportedly told friends she felt targeted from the moment she voiced creative concerns, that every time she suggested changes or asked questions, she was met with silence or shut down. Eventually, she allegedly felt completely iced out by the creative team. Her side of the story paints a very different picture. They're not calling it diva behavior, they're calling it retaliation. Even more explosive, her lawyers are reportedly preparing to argue that the leaked rehearsal footage and director notes, the same ones used to turn public opinion against her, were illegally released in violation of her contract. If that's true, Rachel could argue that the producers breached the agreement first by failing to maintain confidentiality and protect her image. And she might have a case. Some legal experts on social media began weighing in, pointing out that if the producers leaked internal documents to smear Rachel's reputation and drum up sympathy for their lawsuit, they could actually be liable for damages themselves. One entertainment lawyer on X posted, "If this leak came from within, Rachel has every right to fight back, and it won't be pretty." Her team is also reportedly exploring claims of defamation, arguing that the press coverage driven by those internal leaks was so damaging, It's already affected future casting opportunities and brand partnerships. According to insiders, she's already been dropped from 2 promotional campaigns quietly, and other studios have put her name on pause pending the outcome of the lawsuit. This isn't just about Evita anymore. It's about Rachel's entire career and whether she was set up to fail from the start. But there's still one wild card left: Rachel's silence. Some believe her lawyers are holding her back from speaking. Others think she's preparing something massive, a calculated statement, or worse, a press tour of her own. One that flips the narrative completely and forces the industry to look twice at what really went down behind those West End curtains. And if that's true, the producers may have started this war, but they might not be the ones who finish it.
Rachel Zegler is now suing Disney Studios after her bomb of a movie, Snow White. According to reports, she's allegedly pursuing action for wrongful termination, gender discrimination, and defamation. She's claiming that Disney and other studios like Sony, Paramount, and Lionsgate have removed her from projects which she was already contracted for. It is very clear that things with her in the studio are not good right now.
While Evita was burning on the West End, another storm was brewing across the Atlantic. And this time, it had the word Disney stamped all over it. Rachel Zegler wasn't just an actress in a musical. She was the lead in Disney's highly anticipated Snow White remake, a multi-million-dollar production that was supposed to be a cornerstone of the studio's next era. But instead of generating buzz, the film quickly became a public relations disaster. And Rachel? She was at the very center of it. The meltdown began with a single tweet. In the middle of promoting Snow White, Rachel posted a short message tied to the film. And then, just minutes later, followed it up with a bold political statement: Free Palestine. For most celebrities, that would have triggered standard PR damage control. But Rachel's situation was different. According to Variety, the studio was blindsided. Executives reportedly scrambled, confused, and furious that she had injected global politics into a campaign tied to a beloved childhood classic. Within 24 hours, Disney's top brass allegedly flew Mark Platt, a major producer and father of Rachel's Evita co-star Jonah Platt, to New York to meet with her face-to-face. They weren't just worried, they were panicking. Sources claimed the studio believed the comment would polarize audiences, complicate press coverage, and jeopardize international box office numbers. And that was before old clips started resurfacing. Rachel, in her own words, admitted she found the original Snow White cartoon scary and outdated. In interviews, she said she didn't believe in true love and made it clear that the film had been completely reimagined, not about a princess being rescued, but a girl boss finding power in herself. And people were not having it. Longtime Disney fans lashed out, saying the film was being hijacked for political messaging. Others accused Rachel of being disrespectful, arrogant, and completely out of touch with what made the original so iconic. Entire Reddit threads and TikTok pages were created solely to criticize her press tour. One viral video racked up 10 million views in 48 hours, just showing clips of Rachel talking down on Disney's legacy. The backlash got so loud that branding analysts started warning that Snow White might flop, not because of the film itself, but because of its lead actress. And guess what? The producers of Evita noticed. According to leaked insider emails, Rachel's interviews were flagged during early contract discussions. Her unpredictable public persona was cited as a potential liability. And once the Snow White PR nightmare reached its peak, those same producers allegedly began compiling a list of incidents that would later become part of their legal complaint. Disney had wanted a modern heroine, but what they got was a lightning rod. And just as one scandal threatened to drown her in London, the fallout from Snow White made sure there was nowhere left to hide. Rumors swirl. Leaks go viral. But lawsuits? They deal in receipts. And the producers behind Evita allegedly brought them in bulk. According to insider leaks and documents described by multiple sources, the legal complaint against Rachel Zegler doesn't just accuse her of unprofessional conduct, it outlines a timeline of destruction, point by point, incident by incident. And the accusations? They're brutal. Let's break it down. First, missed rehearsals. The producers claim Rachel skipped multiple scheduled sessions without notice, including at least one full cast run-through the week before previews were set to begin. These absences, they say, forced last-minute reshuffling, delayed the ensemble's progress, and cost the production valuable prep time. Second, ignored direction. The documents reportedly detail several instances where Rachel refused to follow directorial cues. Instead of adjusting her performance based on feedback, standard practice in theater, she allegedly challenged the instructions in front of cast and crew, sometimes halting rehearsals completely. Third, on-set disruption. Perhaps the most damning, a meltdown during a live rehearsal, where Rachel is accused of screaming at the director in front of the full cast and storming off stage. One source claims she was later escorted out by security, and another stated this single incident triggered a cast walkout that cost the production a week of rehearsal time. But it doesn't stop there. The producers also accuse Rachel of violating ensemble harmony, reportedly by giving unsolicited notes to other actors, undermining the creative team's authority, and clashing with musical staff. In the tight-knit, high-pressure world of West End theater, that kind of interference isn't just frowned upon, it's seen as sabotage. Then there's the viral impact. The leaked video, the replacement actress, the director's notes, all of it exploded online. And the producers allege Rachel was at the center of it. They claim her behavior led to leaks that spiraled into a PR disaster, prompting sponsors to pull out, ticket pre-sales to stall, and media outlets to downgrade coverage. The contract she signed reportedly included strict performance obligations and a morals clause, the same clause now being weaponized against her. That clause, standard in high-profile productions, allows producers to terminate or sue if a performer's behavior brings unwanted attention or damages the production's reputation. And to seal it all off, she was allegedly paid in advance. That's right. The producers claim Rachel received a substantial upfront payment, likely in the six-figure range, to lock in her role and promotional duties. But now, with the show hemorrhaging credibility and money, they're demanding that money back. All of it. One line in the complaint reportedly reads, "Ms. Zegler's conduct resulted in material delays, loss of media access, reputational harm, and substantial financial damage to the production, sponsors, and ticket sales." In plain English, they say she torched everything. And the producers believe they can prove it, with emails, logs, rehearsal call sheets, internal memos, and timelines that track every breakdown. But if Rachel's team has their own receipts, this could get even uglier. The courtroom hadn't even opened yet, but online, the war was already raging. The moment word got out that Rachel Zegler was facing a lawsuit, social media detonated. And this wasn't just a trending hashtag. This was a full-blown internet brawl with thousands of users, hundreds of posts, and zero chill. Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Instagram, every platform became a battlefield. Some called it the biggest celebrity implosion of the year. Others said it was career assassination in real time. On one side, diehard Zegler defenders. They rallied hard. They claimed the lawsuit was a smear campaign, a carefully coordinated takedown by bitter producers looking to shift blame. "She's outspoken, she's bold, and they couldn't handle it," one viral post read. Another racked up over 90,000 likes. "They replaced her, trashed her name, and now they're suing her? This is Hollywood's favorite trick. Build a woman up, then destroy her when she won't shut up." One TikTok video with nearly 3 million views mashed up clips of Rachel during press events and behind-the-scenes rehearsals with dramatic music, flashing the caption, "You don't hate her, you hate that she wouldn't bow down." But on the other side, the backlash was savage. Reddit threads under r/West End Theater and r/drama exploded. Commenters ripped into her for unprofessionalism, PR disasters, and biting the hand that fed her. A top comment with thousands of upvotes on one thread said it bluntly, "Actions have consequences." This wasn't a mistake, it was sabotage from within. Dozens of users piled on. Some demanded she be blacklisted from future stage roles. Others pointed to Snow White as proof she had a pattern of arrogance and entitlement. Evita didn't break her. She broke Evita, one theater blog headline read. And then came the internet detectives. People started digging through Rachel's old interviews, tweets, red carpet moments, looking for proof that she had always been difficult, that the signs were there from day one. One YouTube compilation titled "The Real Rachel Zegler" racked up over 500K views in under a week, showcasing her most controversial moments, with no context, no nuance, just clickbait heat. Comment sections turned into war zones. Fans who used to adore her were now split, some still defending her, others saying she had burned through every second chance. Industry insiders started weighing in anonymously through gossip blogs. Agents, actors, former co-stars. One anonymous West End casting director said, "She's incredibly talented, but right now, nobody wants that kind of firestorm walking into a rehearsal room." And all the while, Rachel said nothing. No tweets, no stories, no interviews, just silence. And that silence, it made everything louder. The fans had already chosen sides. The court of public opinion was in session, and no matter what happened in the courtroom next, her reputation was already on trial. By now, it was clear this wasn't just a fight over missed rehearsals or backstage drama. This was mutual destruction, and both sides had everything to lose. The producers thought filing a lawsuit would control the narrative, recover some money, and protect their production from collapsing under bad press. But they underestimated one thing. Rachel Zegler wasn't going quietly. And her silence? It wasn't submission, it was strategy. Behind the scenes, her legal team was building their own case. And if even part of what they're alleging is true, then this lawsuit isn't going to end with a clean verdict. It's going to leave scars on everyone involved. According to entertainment legal insiders, Rachel may argue that she was deliberately set up to fail, that the rehearsal space was intentionally hostile, that her creative input was shut down, and that the producers purposely leaked internal documents to destroy her public image before she had a chance to defend herself. And if that can be proven, the producers could find themselves accused of contractual sabotage, violating confidentiality agreements, breaching workplace safety clauses, and engaging in public defamation. Not only would they lose their legal advantage, they could be forced to pay damages themselves. Their entire reputation as a professional, award-winning production team could implode, all in front of the media. But here's the twist: Rachel isn't safe either. Even if her team manages to fight back, the damage has already been done. Casting directors are watching this play out in real time. PR teams are analyzing every headline. Sponsors and studios are already putting her name on red flag lists. Not because she lost in court, but because her name is now linked to chaos. That's the deadly part of public lawsuits in the entertainment industry. The facts don't matter as much as the perception. One entertainment executive told an anonymous blogger, "Studios don't want headlines, they want stability. And if you bring baggage, even if it's not your fault, you're a liability." That's why people close to the situation are calling this a lose-lose war. If Rachel wins her countersuit, she might gain moral vindication. But the stain of this case won't disappear. If the producers win, they may recover some losses. But their brand as a creative powerhouse could be shattered. Nobody walks away a hero. Nobody gets the last word. Because the court might settle the contract, but the industry won't forget. And there's still one final card on the table. One move that could flip the game completely. Because while lawyers talk behind closed doors and fans pick sides, one question still lingers. What happens when Rachel finally breaks her silence? She hasn't tweeted, she hasn't done an interview, she hasn't even posted an Instagram story. Rachel Zegler, once the loud, charismatic star of Disney's next big franchise, has gone completely dark. No apologies, no denials, nothing. And that silence, it's not weakness, it's a strategy. Because according to multiple insiders, Rachel's legal team advised her to go completely offline until every angle of this case is locked down behind closed doors. They're calling it a media blackout. And if that's true, it means one thing. She's not backing down. She's waiting to make her move at exactly the right time. One source close to her management claimed Rachel is preparing a controlled return. Not an emotional video, not a vague notes app apology, a surgical strike, a sit-down interview, a full legal response. Maybe even a documentary-style statement designed to flip public opinion and expose the production's alleged tactics. And when it drops, it won't be subtle. Another whisper from the entertainment law world hinted at something even bigger, that Rachel's camp has evidence of their own. Emails, texts, and call logs that may prove she was targeted from the beginning. If those documents ever go public, this story could detonate all over again. Not just in theater circles, but across mainstream media. Because this case isn't just about Evita, it's about power, reputation, control. And Rachel's next move could either revive her image or bury it for good. Meanwhile, the producers are still pressing forward, quietly restructuring their show, trying to replace the lead without triggering another wave of backlash. But the damage has been done, Every time the show is mentioned, Rachel's name floods the replies. Every promo post, hijacked by comments about lawsuits and leaked footage. Neither side is winning right now. They're both bleeding, and yet everyone is holding their breath for Rachel's next move. Will she fire back with a public statement? Will the court documents leak? Will this end in a private settlement or a very public trial? Whatever happens next, one thing is certain. This story isn't over. Because once contracts are quoted, careers are on the line. And when receipts start to go public, the internet never forgets. So whether you're Team Rachel, Team Producers, or still trying to make sense of what actually happened, you'll want to stay locked in. Because when Rachel Zegler breaks her silence, the next chapter could destroy everything. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay tuned because this story isn't slowing down and the next twist might be the biggest one yet.